A strange story was related by a Walton man who was informed by an acquaintance that the previous evening he was walking his dog along the promenade to the west of the pier. The tide was out a long way, allowing an unusual amount of beach to be visible. From a distance of some 200 or 300 yards, he saw a number of figures. There could well have been a dozen or so, near the water's edge, and they appeared to be stooping or bending over something. After a short while they moved off as a group towards the cliffs, appearing to be carrying something between them. The observer was mystified at what he just witnessed. Nothing was very clear, the figures were hazy, but he thought this was due to the bad visibility caused by a heavy low cloud. During the whole of his time his dog was very restless and kept pulling him back, whereas normally it would have been pulling forward. The mysterious figures gradually disappeared against the background of the cliffs, and the man returned home, still very puzzled. However, the next day he told his friend of his experience, and they agreed to meet that evening and take both their dogs along the same area to see if anything similar occurred. At the agreed time they duly met and walked along the apparently deserted beach, and after walking for some time they both saw a few shadowy figures moving in the distance. Again they seemed to move from the waterline towards the cliffs, where they appeared to fade away. This time there was no reaction from either of the dogs. The same exercise was repeated for the next few nights, but nothing further was seen. A little research revealed that the general area where the figures had been seen might possibly have been the site of the long-lost old Walton church and its graveyard that had been washed out to sea many years ago with severe storms, had lashed this coast, eroding the cliffs, and collapsed into the sea. Could it have been the ghosts of long-dead villagers retrieving their earthly remains?
Nights later. A lonely place where the Severn runs along lawns, and lights that speak ship language and bright colours float past. There's the wind in your ears like a hood. Two sleepwalkers struggling along, one huge with eyes closed, the other staring, that's me, being followed by a cloud. Keep going. Enter a wobbling light, a bicycle, a bird watcher with infrared telescope. Off bicycle, sets up telescope, points it at the water, chuckles with joy, checks with the naked eye, consults book, nods, back to telescope, looks through wrong end.